Good afternoon and welcome to the Return Homestead. My name is Mike and my wife Marty and I homestead 50 acres in southeastern Kentucky. Today our plans kind of got hijacked. We had some loose chickens out this morning. We figured out that they're flying up into the trees above the fence and then getting over. We got that all corrected, got those limbs cut down so they can't fly out again. Now it's time to get back on track. One of the big objectives of today was to try to get some of the wood that we've cut down back up the hill. We've got to get it stacked where it's going to be accessible for splitting, ready to burn this winter. We did create quite a mess down here a couple months ago when we were taking these trees down. There's that big hemlock still laying up the hillside. Still need to buck that out completely. Quite a few of the logs are still laying around here. Our objective on that day was just to get the trees down on the ground so they could start seasoning a little bit. They're not really going to be dried out the way we'd like for them to do, so they won't be properly seasoned, but they will burn. So we'll be able to generate heat with these this winter. Got the logs here on the ground, and there's the rest of that hemlock over here in the weeds. That still needs to be bucked out. That is a massive section of wood right there. And it's going to take quite a bit of effort to get that all cut up. We ended last video on this hillside with me getting my chainsaw stuck in that curve. There's a branch underneath the log that's creating some weird tensions. So the first step today is just to get all of the stacked wood that's down here up and onto a proper stack where we can access it. And if we can get all that done, we'll grab the chainsaw out, start bucking this log out so we can get all this wood up the hill ready for this winter.
I'm doing it.
So we don't have the ideal setup for hauling this wood up the hill. I guess worst case scenario, I can throw a log on my shoulder and walk up with it and put it on the stack. And that may seem like a ridiculous thing to do, but you can clean up a mess like this one log at a time. We'll try to use the four-wheeler and this trailer. This is a little bit too lightweight a trailer for this kind of work. The tongue is just a lightweight, light gauge steel, and the pin hitch does not allow me to back the trailer up effectively. So it's going to be a lot of unhitching the trailer and flipping everything around and rehooking it up to be able to get back uphill. But we'll work it one piece at a time and see how far we can get. You can really feel the difference in the density of the wood between this beech tree and the hemlock. And we know the hemlock is going to be best for fall and springtime when things aren't severely cold outside. It doesn't release a lot of heat, but this beech is going to burn extremely hot. It's a very dense wood, so we'll save that for later in the winter. I'm going to call that good enough for this run up. did save quite a bit of money last year on heating the house by using firewood. We didn't really have enough firewood on the property when we first got here, so we did end up buying the wood, but we spent less on that than we would have on electricity. This is not the ideal location for the firewood. We have a driveway that will probably end up moving a good bit of this up the hill to, but because this is our first experience cutting our own wood, we're not really sure how this is all going to work out. We want to see it all stacked and see just how much we've collected. See if we need to augment that by buying a little more firewood this year. In order to use this wood, of course, we'll have to split it down. I like to split that during the winter, so I stay very active, splitting wood almost daily to make sure we can keep the fire going. We'll do that up in the barn though. We are really grateful this four-wheeler was on the property when we bought it. This would take several days instead of just a couple of hours otherwise. This terrain is not exactly ideal for collecting firewood. The hillsides are steep, the road is narrow, so oftentimes got to park the trailer where it'll fit and just carry the wood to it. And this isn't the worst of it. We've still got some wood down by the lake, and that's almost a mile away. Down steep hillsides and across the creek a couple of times just to get there. I'm hoping this trailer will hold together for the season. It'll allow us to get all that wood that we cut down near the lake. Remember that magnolia tree that fell across the road? We cut that apart. Just need to get it pulled up the hill. There are other alternative fuel sources available here in Kentucky. For many generations, families in Kentucky heated their homes with coal. It's kind of the lifeblood of Kentucky, and there's plenty of it available. We've found it even digging in our garden. You find lumps of coal all the time. I haven't found a seam of it on the property, so that wouldn't be an option for us here. There are lots of properties out in the farming communities that have oil wells on them. So they have been pumping their own oil for many decades, and you can use that oil to heat the house. There's also natural gas available. Even if I had a proper ball hitch on this four-wheeler, there's really no place to turn around on this road. It's extremely narrow, Got a rock face on one side and a sheer drop down into the creek on the other. The only option is to park the trailer at the top of the hill and drive down the hill till I can find a spot to turn around.
Kind of a mixed up mess down here. I wish when I was taking these trees out and bucking them, I had sorted everything. In the end, we're going to burn all of it, so it really didn't seem to matter at the time. But this is some of that beech that was actually up on the top of the hill, but the log rolled down here before I bucked it out, so it's a little mixed up. I am sorting it as I stack it though.
Well, we got all of the wood that was already cut, bucked out up the hill. It's stacked. To get everything else ready to stack, we're going to have to get the chainsaw out. So it's time to start cutting these sticks and branches apart. Collect all of that wood that we can, and then I'll start bucking out these logs. But that's for another video. We do appreciate you visiting with us on the Return Homestead today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button while you're in there to help promote the video. We'll see you next time.